Chapter 17 Year 873 PXF Spring. The two arrived back at Talon's rooms in the Sojourn's Rest just after 1 o'clock. Osmond had been retelling every moment of the evening on the ride, as Talon just rode in silence, smiling and utterly content. Talon started stripping off his mask and formal clothes the moment he entered the door of his rooms, after climbing wearily up the inn's 3 flights of stairs, while Osmond plopped into a chair, still fully dressed. His outfit had returned to its basic, pre-gala form, but he was making no move to take it off, even though he had dressed here and his street clothes from earlier in the day were on a nearby hook, available to change back into before heading home. "Are you just going to wear that forever now?" Talon asked jokingly. "It's not exactly dress code for the keep. Not to mention, you smell."
"I do not!"
Osmond retorted, acting far more offended than he was. Then, sniffing his armpit,
"Oh gods, I do! Why didn't you tell me?"
"It is just from the duel. You were fine beforehand." He added slyly, "Smelling like a bed of roses, in fact." Talon threw the unlaced sleeve of his doublet directly into Osmond's face with devastating accuracy, the armpit landing directly under his nose.
"Ugh! You smell worse than a horse's ass!"
"That is why I am headed down to the baths," Talon replied smugly.
"Wait, there are baths here?"
Osmond queried excitedly, jumping up and beginning to undress. "Where have you been bathing, Osmond?" Talon asked. Osmond? Osmond, who had stripped out of his outfit in record time, headed out the door stark naked, only reaching back in and grabbing one of Talon's dressing robes off the hook behind the door as an afterthought.
"Downstairs, you say? On the main level, or is there a basement I don't know about?"
Osmond called over his shoulder, Talon's borrowed robe dragging the ground and sleeves almost wholly obscuring his hands. "Just wait. Oh, I am... just..." Talon couldn't get a word out, as he was now struggling to get out of his remaining garments and track where Osmond was going by looking out the open doorway. Finally, free and stripped down to his breeches, Talon grabbed a robe and pursued Osmond before he ended up in the main room of the tavern wearing only a robe or even less. Talon caught Osmond just in time, and guided him to a private stone staircase behind the towering hearth's chimney that led to the cellar and the baths. 3 large pools were located in the stone chamber, styled after the baths of Balathira. One was heated to near scalding, another of moderate temperature, and the last one chilled, magical runes keeping the temperature set and the water clear and pure. Osmond immediately dropped his robe and sank into the warmest tub with a contented,
"Ah."
"No, really. Osmond, where have you been bathing?" Talon asked again as he finished disrobing and sank into the hottest tub as well.
"You really don't want to know,"
Osmond stated flatly. "Are you still having troubles with people? Even now, after all we have done for businesses here in Ellery Square? Not just as patrons, but as the Duke's Guard as well?" Talon was puzzled and frustrated by even the thought of it.
"Turns out, while people are happy to take your coin and lift a glass with an old Donnie, they draw the line at sharing bathwater with one."
He threw a small splash at Talon. Then Osmond paused, still gazing at Talon, face becoming both serious and tentative at the same time.
"I have been away from my lands for a long time, and you are the first to treat me as an equal, even more so. Before you, even things as simple as bathing and eating had become exercises in loneliness and exclusion. Of course, I tried to relish it, as is the way of my people, but there's only so much you can learn from isolation, and only so much of it anyone can bear."
In an almost ceremonial voice thick with emotion, he said,
"Thank you, Krol Dram, for accepting me."
Talon kept his face open, awaiting the full meaning of what was being said. He understood, just from the tone of the word that he did not recognize, that something profoundly personal, with deep cultural significance, was being bestowed upon him.
"It means soul brother.
Osmond explained further.
In the Uldan culture, we choose our family. It is as core to who we are as our chosen name. A Kroldran is a mentor, a guide, a protector, but above all, he is the brother you look up to, the one you lean upon in times both fair and foul.
Talon couldn't keep the smile off his face.
Just tonight, a dear friend, as I told him about you, said that it seemed like I had found the little brother I always needed in my life, and I wholly agreed.
They couldn't help but give each other a quick embrace, even though both were naked as the day they were born, and neck-deep in a steaming tub. They parted and sat back on the ledge of the pool. Osmond broke the silence.
What a night!
Quite. Talon, however, was more interested in the conversation they had begun earlier.
Why don't you take the room we secured from Lolly for the clothier's use, and move in here?
Oh, I could never afford it, Osmond replied.
I assure you that you can. I do know your salary, after all.
Talon was again bewildered.
Are you aware of how much you make compared to most in this town?
Well, I am aware of how much I am paying for the tiny room I have now, and it eats up almost all my salary as it is, Osmond said dejectedly.
You are joking. Please tell me you are joking,
Talon questioned playfully. Then his voice dropped to a deadly serious tone.
You're not joking, are you?
Osmond just stared at him.
All right, it is settled. You are staying here tonight.
Then, adding through clenched teeth,
we will be visiting your current landlord tomorrow.
Osmond's whole body seemed to relax, and as Talon watched, it was almost as if a piece of Osmond's life that had not quite fit fell into its proper place. As was always the case with Osmond, his emotional state washed over Talon, releasing the tension that had built up in his shoulders over the discussion regarding Osmond's soon-to-be former landlord. His voice now deeply relaxed, Talon requested,
Little brother, they truly are absolutely stunning, but could you please get all these knots out of my hair?
Come here, Kroldran. Osmond turned Talon's shoulders so his back was facing him, and began to untie the intricate ceremonial braids. As they sat in the steaming bath, Osmond's fingers running through Talon's hair, undoing the knotting he had so meticulously put in earlier in the day, Talon fleetingly recognized that this whole scenario would be completely different if it were Riken here in the tub with him. With Osmond, it was different. Just two brothers unwinding and relaxing after a spectacular evening, being the glitter of the gala at the social event of the season.